How are we doing? Okay, great. So it's a good start. It's a good start. We got our still water. We were talking earlier about how like sparkling is definitely more of an Australian thing these days. We ain't about it. No, no fizzies, no fizzies. Before we start, it's the segue for me. It's a segue for me. Before we start, I too want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands that we're meeting on today, and pay my respects to elders past and present, and acknowledge any of our First Nations family who are with us. I got to say, like, no joking, it is wonderful to be in a space like this and have the percentage of melanated to non-melanated kind of evened out. It's rare. You people know what I'm talking about as well. So thank you all for being here. Of course, we have the wonderful, the extremely talented and the effortlessly badass Wondagurl joining us this morning. All of you guys have been putting in work as part of ARIA Collab, but tell us a little bit, Ebony, about how the experience has been for you so far.
It's been pretty good, honestly. All the songs have been great, so that's great. You kind of never know what you're gonna end up with in these situations. All the artists and producers have been amazing, so yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. It's been good. Like the space is really nice, and everyone's so nice and kind of bubbly and. Yeah.
That's what you want, especially on your first time out.
And jet lag hasn't been hitting me crazy.
That's good. That's good. We were talking a little bit earlier just about how kind of the sound and identity of hip hop in this country has been changing so much, even within the last 5 to 10 years. I think I've had so many conversations with people either in North America or Canada or the UK, and you'd ask them what the identity of Australian hip-hop is. Nobody could tell you because it's not a thing, right? But I feel like now it's almost not a thing because we have so many hungry young artists doing different things, like working with the crop of performers and writers that you have been. Have you found that there's been like any really interesting takeaways that you've been able to learn about what the Australian music space is like, particularly with regards to hip-hop?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like, not all the artists are hip-hop artists.
Yes,
but
it's very diverse.
Yeah, with Baker Boy, it's different. Like, he's adding his Aboriginal flavor into his music as well, which is really dope. And he plays the didgeridoo, which is awesome. And adds that in there. Like, we worked on a track where the didgeridoo was like a bass,
Yeah.
And I've never done that before because no one plays that in Canada.
I'm shocked.
but it's just awesome. And like Goldfang has just been like incorporating his like Trinidadian, Caribbean like stuff into like hip hop music, and I think that's really cool too. So it's been surprising. Yeah. It's like I wasn't expecting this.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's what we love, and I hope that from this, obviously everyone involved is taking the opportunity to learn heaps from you and your team as well, because when we look at a career like yours, it's safe to say that not many people have had the journey that you've had, and are continuing to have. So I want to get into that with you a little bit today. She's like, oh God. We're going to go easy. We'll go easy. No, but let's just talk a little bit about the idea of collaboration in general. I mean, you've been in rooms with some of the genre's biggest names as much as you have been in rooms with some of the genre's most innovative young producers as well. What do you love most about the collaborative experience? Like, what do you love about learning from these people?
Yeah, everyone has something different to bring to the table because we're all our own individuals, right? So I love collaborating because someone else is going, even if we're in the same genre, someone else is looking at the same program or whatever it is and thinking about something different they can do with it, So I learn a lot in general. There's like working with people in different genres itself too. Like it's good for me. I learned so much, And then also a lot of amazing music comes out of it. And I wouldn't have been able to work with a lot of the artists that I've worked with in my career without collaborating with someone, you know? So it's like the most important part.
I would agree with that. Just in terms of like any creative pursuit as well, like being able to have that open mind.
Exactly.
Because if you're looking at visual art, like you're looking at it with a different perspective to the other person, and it's the same with music too.
Yeah, exactly.
For real. Okay, well, let's take it back to the beginning, because I want to know the sort of the bed of sounds that was bringing you up. Like, do you remember those early music moments for you where you were like, oh, I'm maybe hearing things a different way, or even just like, I don't know what I'm hearing, but I know I want to be part of that?
Yeah. I'd say like with a lot of the stuff that I heard growing up, the way I kind of like knew that I was into just like the creation of music was I was kind of like never really listening to the lyrics and always just like the instrumental. I grew up on a lot of R&B because of my mom. Listened to a lot of R. Kelly. And then my family that I was raised with, they're Nigerian, so we listened to a lot of African music as well. Got a lot from like drums and just all those different flavors. But yeah, it was really just the instrumentals for me that got me. You know, I wasn't. I always say like I'm not really a good writer or anything because I'm never thinking of like lyrics. It's always just I just hear more melody or more like drums I could add or whatever it is. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had like an inch of that talent of even just like hearing music that way. You know, because I find it fascinating, just again how music, whether it's rhythms or melodies, will seep in to a brain and then being like, oh, I'm almost seeing them in color. Yeah. How can I rework that?
Yeah.
So what I find is really, I mean, so many things are interesting about you, but the fact that your career trajectory really starts taking off at a time in your life where, you know, for most 16-year-olds, we're figuring out who we are. We're still in that very developmental stage personally. For this person, you're starting to get into studios with Travis Scott. Like, what do we... You and I are not the same.
I was just focused on different things.
You and I
was still figuring out who I was,
yeah, but no,
you know?
That's kind of what I want to ask you. Like, if it's such a unique experience to have as a young person, as a young Black woman as well, moving into these spaces. Can you take us back to that, like the infancy of your career, meeting someone like Boy Wonder, entering into a bit of a mentorship relationship with him? Like, what did you learn in those early years about the production style and also developing a flavor of your own?
So yeah, should I like say how that came about too, or
tell me about the competition?
Okay, yeah. So that's kind of how everything started. Yeah. So I emailed. There was this beat battle in Toronto when I was about I was 13 or 14 when I first found out about it. And they were 19 plus, so I had to email them to like
even get in.
Yeah, like so they never had anybody under 19 like trying to be a part of the battle. Yeah. So I sent them over beats, and then they're like, okay, we'll do our next one all ages. Then I was able to join, and that's where I met Boy Wonder. I was 14 at this time. He was judging that battle, and I didn't win, but I built that connection with Boy Wonder. And then after that, there was like some people there from this program called the Remix Project, which kind of also started everything for me. It was like this program where creatives can join, whether you're in the fashion industry, music industry, or want to be, I should say, or like business management, it's stuff like that. But they just help you reach your goals. You basically write down like your 6-month plan, and then who you would like to mentor you, and they'll find someone for you.
Yep, they'll pair you up.
But yeah, like I already had a relationship with Boy Wonder because of that. So yeah, when I joined, I just asked him to be my mentor, and that really started that relationship. And I would say I learned a lot from him. He gave me a lot of opportunities, honestly, but I learned a lot about just like he always like felt like there was not much he can teach me, like in terms of like making beats. But he did show me that like just to less is more, you know. Because I came up from beat battle culture, so I'm just adding a bunch of stuff into my beats, you know. So he showed me that, and like that helped me get more placements in general.
True. Okay.
You know, just keeping my sound there, but like not doing too much, you know. So that was a big thing I learned from him.
The importance of editing yourself as you go, or you know, just paring things back.
Yeah, exactly. Like even if I do too much, like just listen to it and then think about like what doesn't actually need to be there, you know?
Yeah.
Take it out.
Do you find that there are some times where the things that you take out of one session will then find identity or place like on another project completely?
Sometimes, yeah. Like all the stuff that I like, if they're like samples or something, and I have them chopped up and like one audio, it all stays in my FL Studio. So sometimes I just come across it again and I'll turn it into a whole new beat. So
again, you and I are not the same. Yeah, not the same. But
it's that's a thing.
I love it. Okay, cool. So the seeds are sown around this time. You mentioned Boy Wonder opened a lot of doors for you, but it sounds like, you know, you came out the gate kind of swinging. There wasn't much to mold here.
Sure.
Yes. It's just going to be an hour of me trying to gas you up. Really non-awkward way. So let's move forward a little bit. Like I mentioned, you're around 16, first time you're in a studio with Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like? Did you feel like things were shifting a little bit?
Yeah, I did. It was my first time in LA. I was 15 at this point. It was my first time in LA. This is my first time meeting him. I really went to go see Hit Boy because we connected already through Instagram. And yeah, he was there. Hit Boy was there. Travis was there. Hit Boy's artists, all of them were all there. It was just like a really cool moment. My brother was there. And I was just playing beats for everybody. I honestly don't even know if Travis liked any of them. He was like so quiet.
Yeah.
But I remember him getting a chance to like play his music and I was just blown away. This is my first time hearing about him. Yeah, and then from there I was like, I really want to work with this guy. And I sent beats to one of Hit Boy's artists. They picked one and I was like, you know, I want Travis and I want Pusha T on this. They sent it to Travis. To get Travis on the song with them, and Travis just like took the beat and he messaged me and he's like, yeah, like I need that. And that was the start of our relationship.
That is so crazy because I feel like, you know, for a lot of us here who might be in the audience, you hear these names bandied around like Travis Scott, Jay-Z, Pusha T, Usher, and you're like, how does somebody at your age at that time even get in the realm of these people? But sometimes it's literally, well, right place, right time, but also they're human.
Yeah, exactly.
They hear something, they like it. It picks up and then they roll.
That's just what happens. Like me, I kind of like stalked all of Hit Boy's people in order to get...
That too. That too.
You know, that's how that came about. I literally got through to him. Like this was like maybe after hitting like 5-6 different people.
Yeah.
I got through to him through his photographer. So.
Because it does go down in the DM.
Especially that time. Like,
yeah.
It was so easy to kind of get in touch with everybody because there wasn't that many people on these apps.
Yeah.
You know?
How would you describe, I guess, the culture of being in these rooms? Because I know that in Australia, I think, and I'm saying this in like a more general sense, but there does sometimes feel like there is somewhat of a gatekeeping culture when it comes to like sharing connections, holding the door open so that other people can come through a bit easier.
Yeah.
In your sense, especially in being in LA, like for anyone here who's done it, being in that city for the first time can be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
How would you describe that part of the journey for you? Did you find that people were super open and receptive to work?
Yeah, it was kind of different for me because I already had like a little bit of like a name for
There was
myself.
a bit of the traction
Yeah,
already
exactly.
there.
So people were hearing about this like really young female producer who has like the hardest beats, they would say. So, people kind of just wanted to meet me, and it kind of worked
Love
out.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. Out of Canada as well.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like,
dang.
it was like something that was kind of unheard of
Yeah.
back in that time. So it was
Well,
kind
I think it's still kind of unheard of
of
even
definitely,
now,
definitely.
which we're trying to change.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. So from there, the placements start to build.
Mhm.
The profile gets bigger. Obviously, the notoriety of Wondagurl, but also I feel like the development of your sound is starting to come together a lot more as well.
For sure.
I think, some of the best, or all of the best producers, especially in hip hop, we can identify by their flavor, whether it's, a Neptune's beat,
Mhm.
whether it's Hit Boy, whether it's, Mustard. Recently, it's like a muscle response for me to stop doing it.
You're about to do it?
I know. I was just like, no, don't do it. It's not the time. It's not the time. For you, like, if you were to listen to your own production now versus when you first started, what would you say are like some trademarks of a Wondagurl joint?
It was all really loud. In a good way though.
Yeah.
Like people liked it. I liked it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just really loud drums. It's like that's really all I could say.
Yeah.
I just wanted everything to be loud. Like everything that I was hearing on the radio was just like, I know this kick could get louder. So like, can they turn it up? Like, yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Oh man.
But yeah, that I was like heavily inspired by and still am by Timbaland a lot, by Boy Wonder. But Timbaland like kind of just like made me want to sample a lot.
True.
As well as the Heat Makers. They used to produce for like Dipset a lot.
Yeah.
So that really got me into sampling, which I still do till this day. So I was like sampling a lot of like Indian Bollywood stuff. And just, like whatever I could find. But because of Timbaland, I was sampling a lot of Bollywood stuff for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, was there like a particular flavor or era of music that you found you were like gravitating towards in particular?
Yeah, just anything kind of like minor.
Again, not going to do it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do it.
That's not the time for that.
No, this is not the time. Not the time or place, but we're all thinking it, and that's how I know we're all people.
No, not like that.
I know.
That would have been terrible timing for that.
That would have been very terrible timing. This is how I
But
know
no,
we're gonna be good.
I like dark stuff,
Yeah.
Like minor.
True. Okay, so another really cool accolade that, again, for someone in your space, for someone who specializes in the area of music that you do, being listed on something like Forbes 30 under 30 list is hectic. Anyway, but you're one of the youngest women to add production to a platinum selling hip hop record. Can you just like take a moment and acknowledge that, please? You can applaud if you'd like to. That's me saying applaud.
Thanks.
Now, it's like, I think I know how mentally and emotionally I would be built or not built to be dealing with something like that. Like, as the momentum and the traction is continuously starting to build, as an artist, but also as a person, how are you remaining grounded? Like, what's keeping you centered?
I think the fact that I was never really looking for attention in any way was a big part of it. And then also just having my family. I feel like if I changed in front of them or in any way, like they would kind of
keep
like
you humble.
it would definitely bring me back down to earth. Like, make me feel stupid, honestly. But
do you come from a big family?
Not really, no. But we're all very close.
Close knit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think having your community around you, whether or not it's close blood family or chosen family, is super important.
Yeah, it is very important.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now around this time, because we're talking like 2018, 2019-ish, so before everything shut down. But did you notice any shifts in how it may have become easier for younger producers to start cutting their teeth in the industry, or gaining access to major artists or teams? Like, I guess in the context of the US?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, it's just been pretty easy, kind of, though, because, like, I felt like it was easier when I was coming up.
Okay.
Back to what I was saying about just, like, being able to hit a lot of people on Instagram and kind of get in touch with them for some reason. Because it wasn't as many people hitting them. Like, now people are like, I'm not checking my messages, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, back in the day, I feel like people were checking their messages and there was no reason not to check them.
Yeah.
But it's, like, extremely oversaturated right now, you know? The producers and the artists. It's just, like, there's just a lot. There's a lot, you know? But I don't know. It's everything just happens. If it's supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. It's kind of hard to say.
Yeah,
you know?
or like if it doesn't happen right now, there's a good chance that it wasn't meant to.
Exactly.
So it'll come around.
It will come around. I've seen, you know, people who have been dying to get in touch with whoever they're trying to get in touch with, finally get in touch with them.
Yeah.
You know, and like working extremely closely with them. Like it's.
And it kind of might not even manifest in the way that you're thinking of it.
It
you know?
usually doesn't.
Yeah. Love it.
You know.
Well, let's look ahead a bit more, because not only are you producing for everybody under the sun, not only are you down here in Australia connecting with artists, you're also on the hunt for different sounds as well. You've launched a label, Wondagurl Music. Again, a massive achievement to be able to be at the head of something like this. Like, what was your initial vision for what a label under your guidance could look like?
Yeah, I think having a more, I don't know, it being more of like a mentorship program, than like it's obviously still a label.
Yes.
We're still doing everything like a label would, but like labels are kind of hands off when it comes to the person, you know? It's more so just like the business and like how can we kind of build this in whatever way, and they're not really like connected in that way. That's why I feel like a lot of people get signed and then they just like fall off most of the time, you know? So I just really wanted to help build these people, producers, artists, and turn them into stars, or just turn them into like big producers or whatever it is, you know, and like just guide them through all of that. More so like even with the producers, like I never wanted them to, I've seen a lot of models where it's like signing producers and having them like ghost produce for you and stuff like that. Like I've never wanted to do any of that. I just want to like build them up and kind of turn them into me in a way, you know, like not like me obviously,
like all the
but
formulas worked the first time.
But no, like just help them get there. And same with how Remix Project helped me.
Yeah.
Help them get there in that way, you know.
Well, it feels like what you're doing is creating more of a collective, as opposed to like, I'm the head of the label and everything else falls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Nurturing talent as
for sure. I want it to be that big, but I just want the approach to be different, you know, and the people who are working on the teams just care a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know?
And what's been a highlight of the experience so far? Like, have there been any?
The producers have been just going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every single producer I've signed now at this point has just been, I have two, like the two first ones that I signed, they're now, like one's Jack Harlow's main producer, and then one's heavily working with Drake right now. So it's just like a lot of really good things happening with these producers right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And the fact that this is, you know, it's the start of something bigger. Like this is definitely becoming something that's bigger than you, but also probably bigger than those initial seeds of what you'd imagined, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's been awesome. Like I'm just trying to keep it going, keep the team growing as well. And yeah.
I think it's really important, because it sort of goes back to what we were talking about before in terms of making sure your community is on lock, because as you all know in the music industry, especially for younger artists, there is no infrastructure that exists to support artists and producers when there might be the quiet times, when the phones maybe stop calling or the DMs stop popping off, you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like you're in that unique position where you've come through at a time where in the culture people were super engaged and they were hungry for that.
Yeah.
But you've also grown up with it as well. So to be in the position that you're in, to be building that really cool community is crucial.
No, yeah. I'm grateful to be in that position to do that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's something I've dreamed of since I was a kid.
I love it.
Just help people the way I've been helped.
It's simple, isn't it?
It's very
shockingly simple. Be good people.
It surprises me when people do other things. So like, you don't have to, you know.
Totally.
This is just the type of person you are, I guess.
Totally. Just like by a raise of hands in this room, the artists who are here who are not part of ARIA Collab. Okay, great.
Hey.
This one is maybe specifically for you, Wondagurl. If for emerging artists, for aspiring producers who are maybe in those earlier stages of their careers, who are still trying to figure out who they are musically or even creatively, if you were to leave a piece of advice to them in terms of how to steer your own ship, how to keep it real, what would it be?
I'm like the worst advice giver ever.
Or like a lesson that you've learned that you were like, damn, I wish I'd known that before. Okay.
For emerging artists.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the spot.
Yeah, this is because I'm like more so of the I'm like the type of person that's like, okay, let me just do, and you just get whatever you get from me just doing what I'm doing.
Which is also kind of that could be advice in itself.
What?
Just letting it go. Letting it go.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. You know, it's like very. I'm just like, you know, I'm like the type of person I'll say like, oh, stay humble and. But yeah, like I don't know. In terms of what exactly should I give them advice on? Like, in terms of finding themselves as an artist, I guess like stick to your roots. And kind of like, if there's something that is inspiring you, you're inspired by someone, just don't completely copy them. Like, try to add a different flavor to it. And usually by doing that, you have to go back in time a little bit to what you grew up around or whatever it is. But yeah, I feel like that's a good way to stay original, you know? But again, I don't know. I don't have any advice. If you guys have specific questions for me, I could probably answer that.
I was going to say, we do have some time for some questions.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any burning questions for Wondagurl? Okay, great. We'll start over here.
So, Sosefina, Wondagurl, it's absolute pleasure. I have so far enjoyed your insights spectacularly. For context, we've actually just landed. We flew in from Dubai, 17-hour flight.
Oh, wow.
Mainly because, Ebony, I really respect your work. For context, I'm a violinist and composer of Middle Eastern instrumental music and world music. My brother beside me is a incredibly talented lyricist and rapper. And so that context is important because of what you were mentioning prior. You were speaking about being heavily inspired by Timbaland and his sampling and experimentation with Eastern sounds particularly Indian, Bollywood. You did something similar. And to me, that's really reassuring that the Western space and even yourself is really open to that in terms of the sonic sound and the signature that's there. Yeah. And shameless plug, him and I actually connected before our show last year, and he loved our sound. I sent him over some of our tracks that he's very keen on sampling. My question to you is, have you experimented with the Middle Eastern side of sound? You mentioned Indian. And if not, it would be an absolute privilege and perhaps
I see where this is
an excellent use of my 17-hour flight.
I can't knock
if I can show you some of our work,
it.
just to see if you like it.
I don't know if I'm gonna have time for that because they're trying to like get me out of here immediately. But I've sampled a few things. I'd say I don't know like specifically, but I know I've definitely sampled a lot of Middle Eastern things. Like I like to smoke hookah. So I go to a lot of, we have a lot of Middle Easterns in Canada in general, you know, like in extremely huge community. So I hear it all the time, you know. And then there's a lot of them that come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're a music producer? Like, can you please sample this?" Or like, you know, like, listen to this guy, like you have to work with him. And it's funny, but yeah, like I'm definitely open, and I'm definitely open to hearing what you have. I just don't know how much time I have. So we'll see what happens.
Thank
Either
you,
way,
man.
I'll get like your Instagram or something. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for making the flight.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I flew in from Adelaide,
How long is that?
like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I got nothing on Dubai, man. But thank you for being here.
You came here just for this?
Just for you.
Wow. Thanks.
Yes. Applaud for that.
That's wild. Yeah. Okay, I'll
awesome.
definitely get your Instagram. Stuff like that. You might as well, right?
True. Any other questions? Yep, just down the front.
Hey guys, really good morning to all of you. My name is Aaron, and just a little bit of context. I'm a manager, but I started off as a music video director, and I'm 19, and I started working when I was 16 with like music and everything. So
Awesome.
Cool.
I really relate to you, Wondagurl, because big inspiration, starting off young and all that. And I got my first major gig with Mike Will Made It when I was 17. So
Right.
like doing photography and all that.
Yeah.
But now I manage artists, and you were talking about oversaturation right now that I think most artists nowadays are facing,
Yeah.
because you know there's so much competition, and the two artists I'm managing right now are trying to move to the US in 2 years and try to see how that goes. I guess my question is, how do you play around with your personal musical sound to really just stand out in this oversaturated market? And yeah.
I don't know. I think most of the things that stand out in this market right now are just like things that feel different, make people just literally just feel different in some way. If it sounds like most of the stuff that's coming out, kind of may have like maybe one moment if it's like really good, but it may not go further than that. I think but it's hard to say. You kind of never know with this. But yeah, just bringing a different flavor in some ways, and I'm always just trying to mix genres and just do different things. Like I'm always trying to work with a different artist, like a different artist in a different genre. Bring my sound to their world as well. Yeah, there's honestly many ways you can do it, but yeah, it's just the main thing is just like just bring something different to the table, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully that helps in some way.
What I'm getting the gist of is that there is a lot of really talented young people here. I'm jealous of all of you. Do we have any other questions? Okay, cool.
Hi. Well, I'm Sarah. Thanks so much for being here. I actually have a question just for you, Ebony, about way back and how you got into actually using I think you said use Fruity Loops. Yeah. And how you actually got from being like, I want to make music, I like music, and actually to that process. Because I think that's something, I don't know, whenever I talk to artists, it seems like luck, like someone showed them a program or gave them a laptop or this kind of thing. And I'm curious about how that came for you, and if that was like by chance or something that you went out and looked for when you were, I don't know, a kid, basically.
Yeah, it was something like I got a computer. I was actually talking about this with someone yesterday. I got a computer. So first, my grandma gave me a Casio keyboard, and that's where the interest started. I was just like making like little ideas with my little sister and stuff like that, 'cause she sings. And from there, I got a computer, and I was just like, I just want to create. Like I don't know what it is that I want to do. So I was like trying to make games. I was looking into that. Thank God for like YouTube. That started everything, Yeah, so I was trying to do that, video editing, Photoshop. I was taking like this class at this library that I used to go to all the time for Photoshop and After Effects. And then on the computer they had 'cause it was like they just introduced Macs to the library, you know? So they had like Logic on the computer. So I was kind of starting with that, but I couldn't afford a Mac, so I couldn't use that. And then I downloaded this thing called Magic's Music Maker on PC. Didn't really do much with that. I just kind of made like a song out of like loops, and I was like, oh yeah, I produced this. I played it everywhere. I was like so proud of it. And then after that I was like, you know what, I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper and like start creating the drum loops and stuff like that. I started using Reason, and this is all off of just stumbling across it on the internet, you know. And then, yeah, I would see like videos of people using FL Studio. So I was like, you know what, let me try this. Actually, before that, I got Ableton. I bought this thing called a Trigger Finger by M Audio. And there's like a drum sampler. But it came with Ableton Lite. So I started using Ableton kind of through that. And then I was like, I don't like this. So after that, I found FL Studio. And then it was kind of like playing a game, so I just stuck with that, you know. Yeah, it honestly took a long time to get to where
sounds like it was
to the program I'm on today, but yeah,
almost like it was a process of elimination.
100%.
Figuring out which one fit.
It was just me by myself. I had no one to help me, you know, and no one to bounce ideas off of or anything. So I was just trying to figure it out in my bedroom.
Were there like moments where, because I think we all know if we are learning new skills on our own and we don't have people around us to bounce stuff off of, when we do find, you know, if we are lucky enough to get into those rooms or environments where there is that support there, do you find like there's sometimes where you're like, oh my God, I've been making this so much harder for myself
100%.
this entire time?
100%. That's why it's so key to, you know, find your community or just find people who are better than you and learn. Like, seriously.
Very true. Very true. There's no shame in being like, I can learn more.
Oh, come on.
Well, again, it's a simple thing, but you would be
for
like,
sure.
it's
Like,
surprising
imagine like
how often people need that reminder.
No, I know, I
sometimes.
see it. I'm like, how can you be like this? I've you know, I've done a lot in my life, and till this day I'm like, I'm in these rooms and I'm learning things from people who, you know, from producers and whatever it is. Like, I'm learning and I'm open to it.
Yeah.
With these people who look up to me in some way. You know? Like, it doesn't matter.
You gotta
Get out of your head.
get out of your head. Anybody else? Yeah, Magna.
Thank you so much. So my question would be, you mentioned DMing a lot of people. I'm an artist, but I'm also looking to get into the lyric writing space for other artists. How would you recommend, like what sort of framework did you use to cold email and cold call all these people you wanted to work with, and what did you find worked and what didn't work for you?
In terms of like what I was saying when I was messaging these
Yeah,
people?
like what connections, like how did you make your connections with all these people you wanted to work with, and how, like in what way did you approach them, and how did you find that it worked out for you?
Okay. Yeah, I
ways?
don't know if this is going to help anybody else.
What was your game like?
I was literally like, hi, I'm a at that time I'm a 12 or I'm a 13-year-old music producer, female music producer from Canada. I would really love to send you. And then because it's like such a rare thing, I remember one time I messaged Justice League. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of them. Really amazing producer collective. But I messaged them and I was like, oh, I'm a 13-year-old on Twitter. I just like tweeted at them. I was doing that a lot too. I was tweeting at a lot of people. And they're like, oh, something about like no Chris Hansen, which I guess like that's the guy who like does To Catch a Predator.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, damn, like maybe I should change my approach.
Switch it up a
Yeah,
bit.
it's like, wait,
Don't
like
lead with the age, bro.
it's okay, like we can make beats together, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking. But because I was like 14, 13, like they're like, okay, no, we're not messaging her.
No. I mean, fair enough. Especially on Twitter.
But yeah, like
Dang.
it was a lot of that. Nowadays, if I want to get in touch with anybody, which is different now, you know, like I have, like even like my message, if I message someone on Instagram, like the message goes somewhere else
Yeah.
because of the verification.
Sure.
But I'll just say like hi and a smiley face. So I really don't know if this helps, but but yeah, that was my approach. I was just, but I think it was just more so of the spamming that maybe helped a little bit. This is all fried. I'm probably just making this worse.
Like imagining like the inbox is just like DMs of being like, I'm 13, I'm 13, I'm 13. Be like, yo,
I'm 13,
I'm not getting caught out like that. I'm not going out like that. Not at all.
It worked. It worked for a good amount of people, honestly. A lot of people saw it, and they were kind of just like, whoa, we've never seen this before. But
yeah. I think
so, I don't know. I would just keep spamming. You never know who's gonna hit you back, you know? Yeah, and don't say that you're 13.
I was thinking it helps like just on the Instagram front, like a lot of it might sound really redundant, but the amount of younger artists who will hit me up who are only just realizing that you can have like business emails are easily found on Instagram now. Like it doesn't just need to be a DM. Like you can actually email, like hit the email button and it will take you right through. So
a big thing too is also getting through to them through other people on their team. Like I was saying, like that's how I found Hit Boy, and that's pretty much that started everything for me. Like finding Hit Boy. Yeah. Other than like the extra stuff, like the beat battle and all that stuff, but finding Hit Boy like connected me with Travis, and that's where everything started. So I feel like I found him through his photographer. If you find someone that you're looking for and you know, like you can go through other people that are possibly on their team and they could, you know,
recommend.
Yes.
Word of mouth.
If, you know, if they feel that you're special in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I feel like especially like in the Australian market, that's how a lot of these relationships are made, right? Because some would say it's too small here, but just knowing the people around you, especially like the creative teams here are working with so many of the same artists in the same circles. So just, I feel like that's where stalking can come in.
No, for sure.
Like if you really like the look of an artist who you might want to work with, check their tagged sections, see who they're working with, see who their videographers are, their photographers, see what studios they're tagged, like posted up in as well.
Well, don't like look for them at the studios.
Don't do that. don't. We want to see no one at the bakehouse.
But
do not come there.
A lot, even till this day, like a lot of the people that, like if I'm trying to work with a pop artist that I, you know, feel like I don't really have much access to, which, you know, it happens, I'll just like go to their producer and work with them. And that's like a way, honestly, the best way to get in with these people, you know?
Well, just on that then, like talking about producing across different genres, what is that, if it even is like a bit of a transition period to try and get those inroads, say in pop, where those artists, there are a lot more of them, they may work completely differently. Like how did you navigate those rooms initially? Was it any different?
It was definitely different, but honestly in a better way. Like the way they do things in like the pop genre is so much different than like in hip hop. Like we'll at work like endless hours, and then you'll be in a room with these people who like don't talk to you at all. Like it's just like this crazy vibe. But then you go and work with people who are in the pop industry, and like they're like the nicest people, and they start working at 12 p.m. and end at a proper time. Like it's just
because they're getting enough sleep.
Yeah, like right. And like, you know, the hip hop industry can be a little fried sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, I felt like that workflow was a lot easier. It could be hard sometimes for me because I go to sleep very late. Yep. Or early, but yeah, it works. I don't know. It's fine.
It's cool.
Yeah. I adapt pretty easily. It's fine.
Which is probably another like key skill for anyone to have, but especially creatively speaking, just the ability to adapt and pivot.
Yeah, for sure. Well. I think it's very important. Yeah. Extremely, actually.
For sure. Anybody else? Des?
Nice smile.
Thank you. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm just vibing.
Sorry,
I'm just vibing.
yeah, I'll hit you with something wholesome because so you've traveled around and you've done sort of these major things with artists in North America, and just going back to like cultural differences and learning, is there anything you've learned from the artists that you've worked with over the last few days about the way people from this part of the world do it? Just something, the way they approach things or how they look at things. Is there something different that you've learned and hopefully liked?
No, I feel like it's kind of similar. I'm sorry, I don't have much more to say. Yeah, it's kind of similar. I'm just like, I wish some of you guys would just get out of here sometimes, because it's like, I feel like, I don't know, like, I just feel like, yeah, like, we're kind of missing out on certain things. We would never know, right? Unless you come out here, which I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to do so, but yeah, like, just, I don't know, go somewhere else. Like, even the producers that, sorry.
I'm laughing because this is it's a very frequent conversation.
Yeah, is it?
I'm
Okay.
having.
Like, the producers, like, I'm like, damn, like, these guys are sick and no one knows about this, you know? But, yeah, just get out of Australia for a second. It's too far.
That's true. Yeah, dealing with like the geographic isolation of it all is, I think, probably one of the biggest problems that artists and creatives in general face. In a similar way, I feel like with a lot of touring artists, we're seeing it change a bit in R&B especially, like with the amount of international artists who are finally able to come out to Australia. But even then, I feel like that can only really happen if a festival brings them, or if they're able to land a support slot with another international artist. Like, I feel like, particularly in hip hop and R&B here, we're starting to see a bit more of a cultural investment by like the wider industry. I feel like that's safe to say. And I think that comes down to our industry starting to recognize the diversity that's actually happening in this country. So
they're just kind of slow to it.
Well,
yeah.
You said it, not me. You said it, not me. Just on the sessions that you have been having, what are you, because I know that after this you're going to be going straight back into it. At the end of all of this, what are you excited to take home with you to start telling people in your neck of the woods?
That I've worked with 5 really talented Australian artists. That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, that can also just mean a lot for these people in these rooms, right? Because, again,
it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So, like,
it goes both ways.
100%. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to do this. So,
Truthfully.
Truthfully.
Do we have any other comments? Yes, Nolani, down the front. I'm encouraging all of you to, like, if you do have a question you're sitting on, now's the time, because we weren't lying. After this, we are getting like projectiled like out of this building. So have a think. Have a think.
So my question is, because you travel a lot and you're collaborating, and as you said, like working especially in different genres and having those massive lock-ins, like I love locking in. Those are some of the best stuff comes out after 3 a.m. Like, it's crazy. But how do you find time for yourself in keeping balance and focusing on your wellness as well as health? Like, being sleep deprived is not a healthy thing for an artist, and it really accumulates, and burnout is a serious thing. But yeah, how do you find time in between flying all over the world, collaborating? Do you like block out time for yourself in the year during certain seasons, or you just like, all right, this day each week I need to lock in and focus on myself? Yeah,
that's a great question. For a long time, I did not care about any of that, and I was just going, because I started when I was really young, so I was just going, up until a point where I actually burnt out, and then I was experiencing depression. And from there, I kind of like, and I won't say I figured it out, but I'm still trying to figure it out right now, but making time for myself in the gym, being around people that actually care about me as well has been a big made a big difference in my life. You know, not making beats every single day. I would just literally be in the studio every day, like from when I wake up to when I'm going to sleep, you know? And then that was just that. Eating better, doing little things that I enjoy, whether it's reading or cooking or, you know, just caring about all these other things other than like music. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still on my wellness journey. But yeah, like just like not music being my only focus, you know. Right now it's more so just like where my head is at is the main focus before, because I literally cannot put my best work. I can't do my best work without, you know, being right in the mind at all. And I didn't notice this until maybe a year after COVID.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time, you know. Yeah.
I think it's definitely something we can all relate to.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
Yeah.
But I'm doing better now.
That's good. That's good. Thank you, Lonnie. Come on now. I haven't just paid all of my friends to be in the front row. It's fine.
Oh,
They're doing my job for me. Anybody else? Last drinks call. Mo, my brother.
I can shout it out.
Millie's like, I ain't running.
Favorite kind of like workflow or process when you're working with artists? That's kind of like your staple, where you start from. Because I heard you talk about how you're a big beats person. I would say.
How what?
He's a big beats person as well.
Oh.
You're a big, big on beats, you know. I'm asking the question because I'm the same. I'm a producer myself, and I love starting with the beats. But do you have a particular workflow or process that you that's kind of clutch for you when you're in sessions?
Like I said, I adapt pretty easily. So honestly, whatever the artist wants, I kind of just like to know what they like and see where I can fit in. So most of the time, it's always different. Yeah. Okay. Hope that helps.
Well, I think maybe as like a final question, a little prod from me before we get out of here, looking ahead to what's coming up for you this year, can you tell us a little bit about what's exciting you about, you know, maybe what's coming up in terms of new projects, but also how you would describe your relationship to music, period?
Sorry? Wait, one more time.
How would you describe your relationship to music generally?
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about this year, what's exciting you the most?
Okay, I think what's exciting me the most right now is being being able to like work on my own stuff now. So I've been working on my own projects.
Awesome.
And kind of just like do whatever I want when it comes to that. And then also like I've been like getting into like the tech space. So I've been working on my own like plugin at the moment, which is cool. It's just like I'm just at the point now where I'm like ready to do all the things that, I guess some of it, because there's a whole lot. All the things that I said, some of the things that I said I wanted to do when I was younger, because it's just a big list of things, you know, and I'm just trying to tackle them all, but like not too quickly, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting it to that point where it's like getting placements and stuff like that isn't necessarily like the most important thing in my life.
Yep.
And I'm really excited about that.
That's cool because it's like, again, it's important to remain challenged in different ways, right? Because it's going to feed into your creative process when it does come to placements.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing that is super exciting. Being able to create my own album and have full control over that, because you don't really sometimes in certain situations you don't get a lot of control over the album you're working on, especially when you're just like out there looking for placements, or you work with an artist like the artist that I work with heavily. He's like, I'm the producer, you know, which he is, and I really respect that about him. But it's like hard to like fully get some sort of control there, you know.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I've been signing my own artists, because I want to, like, you know, I just want to build my universe in some way, you know, and have people understand me in different types of ways, you know.
That's cool. In terms of your own project, like whereabouts in the process are you with that?
It's almost done.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's off and running. We love it. Well, we can't wait to see how it continues to flourish, because I think that's also the really exciting and fascinating thing about the space that you're in. Like, it could literally go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's dope.
For sure.
So cool.
It's fun.
Yeah, it makes me even more grateful for your time. I know it's a long flight to get out here.
Yeah.
And then just to go straight into sessions, meeting so many people you've never met before. We're so grateful that you've been able to do it.
I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Yeah.
Can you please give it up for Wondagurl one time? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Make sure, if it hasn't been demolished already, get in around that food. Like, that's what it's there for. I hope you've been able to take some cool gems away from today, because it really isn't that often we get to have music brains like this available to us. So thank you all for coming, and we can't wait to see what comes out of these ARIA collab sessions. Thanks, guys.